exemption report for exemptions that we processed in July of 2025, so there are two of them here. The first one is for Jewish Home of Rochester Senior Housing, Inc. Company is MAC Industries. This was submitted under the specialized construction category. So MAC Industries is based out of Vienna, Ohio. They will be installing precast concrete at the Jewish Home of Rochester Senior Housing Project at 2000 Summit Circle in Rochester. There are currently no local precast panel fabricators and installers within the 10-county area, and most precast panel contracts include fabrication and installation in one package. Pike, which is the general contractor, listed this project on the Builders Exchange and only received two bids, both of which from out-of-area contractors. MAC will be installing precast concrete slabs, columns, and beams on the first floor of the Villa building. There will be a total of 10 out-of-area workers on the project, and MAC is working with Clark Rigging to include a local crane operator in the installation process. Any questions about that waiver? So the second one is for Eugenio Maria de Hostos Charter School. This is for Davis Ulmer on behalf of Local 669, submitted under the no local labor available. Davis Ulmer Fire Protection, which is located here in Rochester, has been hired to install the fire protection, fire suppression system at the Eugenio Maria de Hostos Charter School on Joseph Avenue in Rochester. At the time the contract was signed, Davis Ulmer had enough local workforce to complete the project. But there has been a boom in the construction industry in Western New York, and unfortunately Davis Ulmer, which is a union contractor, no longer has enough local workers to complete the project. So the Sprinkler Fitters Union Local 669 provided a letter to verify this. Local 669 needs to bring in a maximum of 3 out-of-area workers, all from New York State, to finish this project.
Has there been a boom?
There has been. Most of the union halls are empty. Unrelated to MCIDC with the Fairlife project, we're getting several waivers all the time as most of the halls are empty, so that is a problem we're seeing everywhere. We're processing more waivers in Genesee County and Seneca County and everywhere else we work, but that is very true. It's very thin right now, unfortunately.
Is it mostly not-for-profit or is it profit too?
It's a mix of both. I think everyone is kind of dealing with the same shortages in workforce, so. Right, we're kind of seeing it on all ends of the board, all the way down to Westchester County, quite frankly, where we also work. So,
thanks.
Any other questions? Okay.
Thanks, Scott.
You're welcome. Have a great day. Thank you.
Financial report, Greg?
Yeah, good afternoon. Financials through July. Cash balances total about $1.5 million. About $1 million of that is in our micro account as we're anticipating some larger loans. The remaining dollars are in our operating and money market accounts. In terms of our investments and our maturities, we did have a treasury mature in July. We did repurchase that. We are now going out to October of 27. So all good there as we continue that laddering process. RLF received $10,595 of principal, $3,000 of interest during that month. Micro loans, so we have in July issued $300,000 of new loans. Year to date, we're $1,075,000 of new loans. Principal received this year to date on all of the portfolio is $263,000, and interest received is $54,000. So all really, really good there. All of our other assets and liabilities are in line with our budgets and expectations. SBA 504 loan program income is pretty much on track. Hard to really predict that. Banking interest is certainly tracking ahead of where we had anticipated. I think we had anticipated for budget purposes, rates going down a little bit. They really haven't, right? So that's just really more of a budget assessment there. We talked about the IDC loan, interest income micro loans. Again, I do anticipate that catching up as we issue more loans into that program. That really represents a timing difference. certainly you can see we're a little bit ahead of our microloan grant income, where we anticipated, year to date, and certainly well ahead of last year. In terms of our incentives, again, the incentive programs just, really represent our great programs. I think we've talked about that at different times. It's stale, right? We certainly don't feel there's, as many people using those programs as they have in the past. That's why that's really behind budget. The economic development expenses relate to our, we have 4 or 5 things we normally commit to every year. One, the CDL program, economic gardening, the BOCES, retained. Again, those are still in our budget. Again, timing is really the issue there. We do anticipate some of those coming due over the next 5 months. General administration, again, really that's more of a budget thing. I think we're certainly on track. There's really nothing significant over budget. It's just the reimbursements that we would get on the microloan program are less, and timing will catch that up. So no significant other G&A expenses over budget there. And then the bad debt really represents the 15% on all the new loans.
Because we've done more than we budgeted.
Yes.
That's why that number's higher, right?
Yeah, and we'll continue to
said
look at
that
that,
last
right? We continue to look at that. We do anticipate there's a, as we get further out into the loan program, we do anticipate, that rate, having some issues with that. But I think overall, I think since the beginning of the program, I think we're in a bit better position in terms of where we anticipated any of those maybe potential losses to come from. But we do have a few that are in the system now that may have expectation of non-payment. But overall, like I said, I think you look at where we are the year, $760,000 exceeding our revenues, certainly quite a bit higher than we were last year.
So the other revenue is a bond fee?
Yep, bond fee. That's the majority of that. And then again, like I said, I think organizations probably continues to be in the best position, it seems like, every month over month than we have been historically. For really the reasons I talked about. Obviously, the micro loan was really a great catalyst for us, but I also think, looking back historically, as I did in the past 30 days, our expenses for years really wouldn't match our revenues, and I think the board has done a great job really looking at what we're committing to, and really focused on, trying to really look at what this organization is all about and focusing on what those commitments are. And so both an expense, maintaining our expenses or even reducing our expenses, but also increasing our revenue substantially over the last, I would say, 24 months has really put us in a great financial position.
Greg, I should know the answer to this, but for the revenue we get from bond fee income, are we recognizing that all year one, or are we recognizing it in pieces over time of the duration of the bond?
No, all year
All
one.
year one. Okay, I thought so, I just.
Craig, those 2 micro loans that look like they're gonna be defaulted on, question might not be for you, it could be for Craig, but when did we know that these folks were in trouble? Was it right in the beginning? They didn't have any intention on paying it at all, or what did it?
Allison?
So, one did not even make one payment,
Okay,
and I think we talked to a bank and they said that they did the same thing with them, so we think maybe they just left the country.
okay.
The other one was for someone that we did, actually, we're working on an SBA loan that didn't go through, and they've actually declared bankruptcy, I think, since.
What are the names of the companies?
Do we wanna say that in that?
Oh, okay, that's
I
fine.
don't know. And then the third one, we're close to, and they were making some payments, but I think they made 2 or 3 payments, and then they just kind of went dark. So, we have other people who are out, who, have late payments, but they've either worked out deferments with us, or they've talked to us and made, 2 payments, so we're in communication with everybody else, so,
So we're in good shape.
Yeah, I think with a program like this, and we're gonna expect those. Like if we thought that we're not gonna have any of those, I think we wouldn't be, really, accurate, so I think, obviously, I think we're ahead of where we thought we would be. And so I think Allison's done a great job of maintaining those communications to the best that we can, and, so again, certainly we look at that obviously often, and we'll keep the board apprised of any updates or current situations.
Any more questions for Craig? We gotta go to executive session, right? Need a motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Chair.
I jump into the NAICS report.
Yeah, you gotta give me that.
Alright, and so then we've got the, NAICS report for the 504 loan portfolio. This report was as of June 30th. So the balance as of June 30th was, 27.2 million in outstandings. Top industries by dollar amount outstandings, the manufacturing, or two manufacturers, at 40.5% of the outstanding balance, it's 11 million roughly. Healthcare, industry at 12.1% of the outstanding, and professional, scientific, and technical at 11.5%. Other services on here shows at 15% of the outstanding balance, and that consists of general auto repair, car wash, beauty salons, dry cleaning, laundry service, and landscaping. Any questions on this report? There are a few one-off industries in here that weren't included in the highlights on the page 23, so that's why it doesn't total up to 100%. There's like agriculture, one loan is like an agriculture and fishing, wholesale trade, probably should have made it on the highlights. Finance, insurance, so, and other consumer good rentals, so, any questions?
Okay. Dashboard.
Thank you. We are out of executive session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. Thank you to staff for putting the loan dashboard together, as well as the incentive program dashboard, pages 24 and 25 in your packets. Further credit to staff for approvals thus far year to date. We are at 9 SBA loan approvals, so strong performance there, 3 fundings. Nothing from our revolving loan fund. You'll recall a couple of months back we instituted some parameters around our revolving loan fund, and we hope to have some dialogue with all of you, first internally as staff, but with the board as to how might we advertise a revolving loan fund or somehow promote it. It's definitely a valuable tool in our economic development toolbox. So keep an eye out for our revolving loan fund discussions regarding that. And again, thanks to hard work from staff, we have 79 microloans out the door, with the total ARPA funds distributed at nearly $4 million, 3.772 of the 6.8 million. So great performance, so great that the county is interested in working with us to perhaps expand the scope of the microloans. So again, we'll come back to the board with that conversation at the appropriate time. And under incentive programs, a lot of activity on our new / rebranded Equip Monroe program. 25 equipment rebates approved since that program was announced earlier this year. A lot of conversations with businesses about tariffs, and seeking some relief for cost escalations. So the equipment program has been positive in terms of businesses being interested, and its flexibility has been valuable. And then pretty steady on manufacturing rewards, Monroe on the Job and Monroe Manufacturers Jobs. These are 3 legacy programs similar to the Great Rate, Great Rebate program, which is sunset or was rebranded to Equip Monroe, that we'll want to come back to the board to perhaps consider repackaging or rebranding eventually, but still some steady activity regardless. And then you'll see in small font at the bottom that the Great Rates, Great Rebates have 43 open applications at the moment, $523,000 worth of benefits slated to be paid out through 2030. and then payments out this year totaled $68,910. Does anybody have questions or concerns about any of these items? Alright, thank you. And no action is necessary.
Any other business? Looks like it's gonna do it for us. You're out of here for August.
12:32, good time. We have lunch